We are joined now by the head coach at Syracuse, Fran Brown. One of the most exciting new coaches this year because he came in and shook things up, changed that roster dramatically. Fran, how are we doing?
I'm doing good. How about yourself?
I'm amazing, and I'm fascinated by what you've done with this program. And you haven't even had a spring practice yet. You start spring practice on Thursday.
Yeah.
How different are things now since when you got there 2-3 months ago?
It's more work as the practices get closer for a head football coach. You know, it's a lot of things you have to do now and different pieces. But I mean, the kids are just they understand and they're buying into our culture. You know, which is dark, detailed, accountable, relentless, and tough. Over the last 2 weeks, we haven't had a single player miss a class. You know, so they're locking in on academics. You know, they're locking in on their faith, and then we're just becoming closer as a team. So I think it's different just because the guys care for each other. You know, we brought new guys in, not saying they didn't care last year or whatever, but we brought a lot of new guys in. I mean, we brought in at least 20 different new guys, you know, and it's going to be like 34 total, 35 totals that was already have committed to this new team. But we brought in at least 25 new guys. So those new guys getting an add on with the guys that were here, I think they're gelling together well. You know, they're trying to become real brothers. I wouldn't say they're brothers. Yeah, they're like step brothers or cousins right now. They're working into becoming, you know, brothers.
So you talk about guys locking in. You locked in on this job, and the story you've told about this is incredible. This is not how people normally get head coaching jobs, but you texted John Wildhack, the AD at Syracuse, and just said, "Hey, I want to be in the mix for this." You didn't even tell your agent till after you'd already gotten the job.
Yeah, I just felt it was the best thing to do. I'm represented by a really, really good agent. I asked him to just get me the number. I wanted to go myself and just from different pieces. And, you know, they got so many guys that they got to represent too, and there's a lot of pieces on it. So I just felt as though let me go and speak for me. You know, if I do it for myself, then that way I won't have any regrets and I won't be able to point any fingers or do anything of that nature. It'll just be all on me. So I just went and did it for myself. Like, you know what? I'm going to get this job for me. I'm going to do it myself. I'm going to make sure that I speak what's needed to be spoke about me. I want to make sure that I just dot all the I's, cross all the T's, and that way, if it don't happen, at least I know it didn't happen on myself this time.
Your recruiting philosophy is really interesting to me because I think people look at it like, oh, how I recruit depends on what school I'm at. And you've been at Rutgers, you've been at Temple, you've been at Georgia, you've been at Baylor, all very different kind of places in the college football universe. But you haven't changed your philosophy one bit. I saw you on the Keeping It a Buck podcast, and the host was giving you a hypothetical, like, okay, let's say you got the head coaching job at Monmouth, and this is when you're the DB's coach at Georgia. You know, do you recruit different players? And you're like, no, I just go get the same. I just go talk to the same guys.
Yeah, you have to. I mean, because like, why would you not go get a player that you really want to coach? Why would you not try to go get the best? The objective of this is two pieces. Recruiting. I'm recruiting you to come be able to play for me, so that way we can win the championship because you're a player that we feel is going to help us. Also, I'm recruiting you, and I'm hoping that you want to come play for me because you feel that I'm going to be able to better you in your life, in your future, help you become the man that you want to become. So why wouldn't I go do that with who I feel is going to give us the best opportunity of winning the championship? You know, I think some people are just comfortable with getting the second guy or getting this one or getting that. Like, I chased my wife for 2.5 years before I ended up, you know, us being together. You know, I was chasing her from 14 years old all the way through. 9th grade, she wouldn't talk to me. 10th grade, didn't talk to me. Then she finally came to her senses and ended up talking to me after 2.5 years. So, you know, I went after the best there. So I'm going to go do the same thing now when it comes to recruiting and being able to do that.
Well, and the relationships matter so much because even if you don't get that first guy or that second guy, they remember you. They like you. They said, and I was thinking about that. I was reading about you recruiting Kyle McCord, your new quarterback from Ohio State, and the relationship piece of that. Your offensive coordinator's son played with Kyle. Your wife worked with Kyle's dad when she was a nurse. I mean, how much does that matter? Just being able to say, "Hey, we've met. We know each other."
Well, first off, she's still a nurse. We got a lot of school loans, so she don't have to we keep working right now. So she's still a nurse, but
Yeah.
I think it means a lot because especially nowadays with the portal, and different things of that nature, and them just understand the relationship because everyone says a lot of things, and sometimes, I mean, you got to think these are 18-year-old kids, 17, 18, sometimes they 19. They're making a decision. Sometimes they're not just making the best decision for them at 33. They're making the best decision for them for the next month or what's going to look really, really good on Twitter or what they may feel is going to happen because all they picture is the best scenario. And they just feel automatically feel the best scenario is going to happen. They haven't been able to really put the other scenarios into play. They haven't thought about those other scenarios. And, I paint those pictures of the worst scenarios also. Just being able to make her understand everything that could happen. There's more than just one possibility. Yeah, of course we want you to come here, go to be a guy, set the record, be a Hall of Famer, go to the NFL. Yeah, but that doesn't always happen to everybody. That happens 1 out of 25. You know what I mean? So those other
Mhm.
24, what happens with them? How are you treating them? Who are they? When things are bad for them, where are you at as a coach and as a piece of that nature? So, I even hate going that far because most coaches don't even talk about all that stuff. So I'm kind of giving up some of
Well,
this.
that's what I was about to say is I've talked to so many coaches who talk about that first meeting with a freshman class, and they always ask, how many of you are going to the NFL? Every hand goes up.
Mhm.
And reality is it's maybe one or two are going to the NFL. When did you decide to start talking about that in the recruiting process?
As soon as I got hired to be a football coach at Temple University, I understood that and I knew that that was important. When I was a freshman basketball coach at Camden High, I knew that all those kids that were on that team, they played freshmen in the ninth grade. So it's a great chance if you play freshman in the ninth grade, you're probably not going to the NBA. So you already started talking to them about life, you know what I mean, and things that are going to be important. And instantly, I went to college. I was from Camden. I'm sitting right there coaching all these freshman kids in basketball. It is my job to get them to want to go be successful. It's my job to allow them to see that I'm a married man and I'm doing things the right way. So that way these young guys can be able to follow the right path. I mean, sometimes it's not about how you get money, as long as you don't have to degrade your name and things of that nature. You know what I mean? Some of these guys just want to be good fathers and husbands. If I tell you, hey, you're gonna become a millionaire, but it's because of someone that you work with before they own something and now you're gonna come and start to work with them and your degree is gonna pay off. Would you really care when you become 35 years old and now you're a multimillionaire because you did pay attention in the classroom? You did have the right education because you knew how to treat people and things of that nature. So my mindset is just it's more about life. It's more about your faith. Like man, we're men. Like our job is to get these young men closer to the man above. Football just happens to be my job while I'm working here. It's helping me fulfill my flesh. But the man above wants me to help young dudes get closer to them and show them how to be men so that way they can raise their children and bring their family up the same way. And that way we just continue to just have a better place. Make the United States a better spot to live overall.
Well, and you talk a lot about growing up in Camden, New Jersey, and it's obviously not the easiest place to grow up. But I've heard you say it several times, like you saw kind of the gamut of people. You saw bad, but you also saw good. You also saw hopeful. You also saw people who could be role models for you. Who were some of your biggest role models growing up?
Some of my biggest role models aren't even alive, and then some are. But so those guys that everybody thought was just bad where I lived at, I mean, of course they did other things to make ends meet. I'm not saying that all those things were right or things of that nature, but they pushed me to go the right way. They would always push us to go do the right things and to make sure you stay from around here. Hey, make sure you do this. Hey, we'll buy a basketball court and put us at the top of the block. Hey, stay from around here because this ain't going right up here. Y'all stay up there and play basketball. Stay out the way. I mean, do things of that nature. And my uncle Charles Brown, he became a cop. My mom's brother, I think he was one of my biggest role models. Still is. He was more so like the father to me. Like that was like that's my pops. When it really went back and looked at it, him just taught us everything, done a lot of stuff. I seen him get to his highest, and then I seen him get to his low, where something bad went on, and then I watched how when things were bad, how he just stayed the course. He worked the same way. Like I was the environmental service manager for Crothville. I ended up hiring my uncle, who I looked up to and who I loved like a father. I ended up giving him a job after some stuff, and then now he runs that entire piece. Years later, I'm the head coach at Syracuse, and my uncle runs that whole Crocker environment. So that just tells you like the type of men I was around. My high school football coach, Mark Pease, I even actually call him Pops. He just was just there, just that was the first guy that I saw like sit down with his wife and family eating and having dinner. My mom, he would let me come and live with him in the summers. I stayed with him 1 year. Then my mom, she allowed me to go there. She trusted Coach Pease a lot. So like before she passed, that's who I would go and just spend a lot of time with. And he taught me just to be different. Um, and honestly, role models like just my uncles in the neighborhood and different people, it's different names of guys that I'd rather not really say, but just to bring their names up. But like those guys were role models. My wife, just from being with her and just watching how she was pregnant, had my youngest son, still went to school for anesthesia, and I just watched how she worked and just kept getting A's on every test. Every test was like the deal breaker of the lifetime, and she would always come back with an A. Like she became a role model. Just like people that work hard, you know what I'm saying? Like Matt Rhule, I can't sit there and tell you that I don't look up to Coach Rhule. Like, man, Matt was like always, like he's my oldest son's godfather. And that was like, well, like.
And so you were playing JUCO ball in New York, and a young Matt Rhule who worked at Western Carolina, Cullowhee, North Carolina, shows up. So there's this dude from New York coming to see a guy from New Jersey to come to Cullowhee, North Carolina. What does he say to get you there?
So let me tell you this, and Coach Rhule will tell you this. Rhule wasn't coming there for me. They were coming for someone else. The coach didn't think that I would get done all my schoolwork in 1 year, but see, I had a plan. I went in the summer. I took 12 credits. During the school year, during football season, I was taking 21 credits. So I took 21 credits. I ended up passing 18 of those 21. I stayed up over the Christmas break. And then I met Coach Rhule. When I see him in the hall, I said, Coach, trust me, I got a plan. This is what I'm going to do. I'm going to pass. I'm going to take 18 credits now. I'm going to pass these ones. I'll be up here for Christmas. Next semester, I'm going to take another 15. Then in the summertime, I'll take 12. I'm going to have 60 credits in a year. You need to recruit me. I'm the best corner in the conference anyway. Like, and then he went through, he watched my tape. Then he called me. And then, like, he was Coach Rhule from New York. So that kind of, like, took it from there by him being from New York. And then I just started asking him questions about the school. We was purple and gold. I went to Camden High, purple and gold. And we was playing against NC State. Our first 3 games was like NC State, Duke, different people. But NC State had Phillip Rivers, Jericho Cotchery, T.A. McClendon, Mario. Like, I mean, just all those dudes, they was, like, killing. Like, and that was a real good game for us. It was I played pretty well. They beat the brakes off of us. And I just remember the whole game crying because I got left back as a senior in high school, went to JUCO, was able to do all that stuff within a year, and then I was now getting an opportunity to play college football for real after that year. Like, I got a guy on my staff I hired named Emmanuel Mark. We played JUCO ball together 1 year, and he'll tell you like it was like every day was just important to me. And I just been on a mission ever since. Being able to see it every day was important.
How much does telling your own story when you're talking to these players, the ones you inherited and also the ones you're trying to recruit, how much does that help you connect, help you, build a bond that
I think they understand that and they know that, and they know I want what's best for them, and they know I'm not taking no BS. Like, you're not going to get over on me. I'm gonna find out, and then when I find out, I'm gonna come at you about it. I don't mind confronting the best player, like Aronde Gaddison and Kyle McCord. They will be confronted by me. But I'll confront the guys that are the best players on the football team, because I think when you really confront them and when they see them do it, and I do it in front of their peers, it puts everyone else in place. And it's not from a place of like I'm trying to show I'm the man. It's from a place of, why are you trying to mess your future up? I'm not going to allow you to do that. We're not going to do it that way. You got too much at stake. Like, why would we mess that up? We're going to do this the right way. So,
your first college football game was a Syracuse game. Donovan Darius, Camden guy.
Yeah.
Dwight Freeney, he's from Connecticut. Like, the best Syracuse teams always dominated the Northeast in recruiting, whether it was Jersey, whether it's New England, whether it's Pennsylvania. How do you get back to dominating those areas?
Just working daily. Being consistent. You got a lot of coaches in the Northeast, man. There's some great programs up here right now. Everybody's doing a good job, I think. I look at all the schools, and I just take my hat off to everybody in the whole Northeast right now. The Big Ten and the ACC, as I'm watching what they're doing. I'm like, wow, these guys are going. So it's no better time, in my opinion, for me to show what our staff can do, and who we are and what the program can do. There's no better time right now because everybody's in the, they're scale is up, the trajectory is up for everyone. So why not show that we can be the best? And I want to compete. These dudes are really smart. They're intelligent, man. They've been doing it a long time. Let's just see who's going to outwork each other. And they know, they all understand it. I better work because I'm going to work. I don't have to sleep. So let's put the work in. And I'm going to compete. I want them coming at every one of them the same way they will come at us. Let's compete, and then we'll get an opportunity to compete on the field. But whatever stage or whatever part of the year it is that we can compete, they better be busting their butt to compete because I am. What I'm saying? I want to win.
You don't have to sleep. You got a kid in college, but you also got a young one, like a 2.5-year-old, right?
I got 2.5-year-old daughter. I got 11-year-old son who's here every day. He thinks this is his programming, honestly. So he actually told the equipment guy to get his name next to mine. It's like 2 lockers, and they wouldn't put his name next to it. It's like, oh, your son said do it, so you go in there now. They say Braden Brown right next to my other little locker. He's funny. Then my 2-year-old daughter, life changing. Everyone says it, but just to have a daughter, it's a different ball game, and the brains of the family. My wife is, but then my 19-year-old son, Fran, he's just becoming a good athlete. Just watching him, I got to work him out here last week before he went back. And, I work him out. Usually I just try to stay away from him, but I went in there like, all right, I'm gonna do it. Come on, worked out a few days and just watching him get better. I think they're doing a good job at his school, but seeing the way he runs and moves, and he's in school for mechanical engineering. And then he's still doing a really good job on the field. He'll have a chance to compete to play this year. So just excited to watch him. I'm hoping that our schedules kind of go off a little bit. I didn't look at ours yet because I'm trying not to jinx myself or whatever, but hoping that I get an opportunity at least watching one spring practice and be able to go up. But I'm just, man, my family, like my wife, she's amazing. Just those three, I don't know what I would do without them. I think I have the perfect family for what I'm doing right now and in the time of my life. And they're all understanding of the time and appreciating. My daughter doesn't know, but I'm just happy for them.
Before I let you go, I do want to ask about this because you mentioned your oldest. He's at St. Francis in Pennsylvania playing. And did being a dad in the recruiting process change the way you look at the recruiting process at all?
It changed the way I coach the kids. It doesn't change the way I look at the recruiting process. I recruit the same way, but it changes the way I coach them because of karma. You know what it says. Karma comes back on your oldest. So, like, Franny not about to get no BS because of what his dad did. So I just look at how do I want my son treated? He's in school right now. What calls do I want to take from him? How would I respond if if the shoe was on the opposite foot? So I just treat him all the way I want Franny treated. And that's important to me that I make sure I treat him that way. And it's just like telling everybody, right? And I use this something I always tell people and say, everybody say, I'm gonna treat him. I love him. I love your kid like a son, man. I love him like a son. I'm not gonna love none of these kids the way I love my children, but I'm gonna treat them all the way I want them treated. That love that I have for my son and for my oldest son, for my second son, for my daughter, I can't love none of the kids that way. But I'm gonna treat them the same way I want them treated. I do love them. I want the best for them. I want all those things, but like my sons, like they were life changing. I became a man because I had children. I was able to grow up. I couldn't do the same things that I did when I was me and my wife, just us two. It was a little bit different. I'm going to the club. I'll see you later. Are we getting an argument? I don't care. I'm going out. Are you going out? Like, now you got children. It's like, oh, snap. Okay, listen, what did I do? It became all that, and I ain't worrying about that. To now, what did I do? I'm sorry. I'm sorry. It's about more sorry than just the other piece of it. But, just having my children they changed my life. I can't say they saved me because I knew what I wanted in life. But my children changed my life. They changed my thought process. My wife, she's changed my life and my thought process. So it's just a different ballgame.
Well, cannot wait to see what this program becomes. Spring practice this week. Coach, thank you so much.
I appreciate you, man. You be safe, all right?
Yes, sir. Thank you so much for watching. Just a reminder, subscribe to this channel right here so you never miss an episode of Andy Staples on 3. And oh, by the way, watch all the other great videos on the On3 Sports YouTube channel.